Hello, my haunted peeps who all wish we could afford mansions. I just got done watching The Haunted Mansion, and with this latest adaptation based off the popular Disney ride, we follow the story of a mother and her son who come into possession of a mansion only to find out it's haunted. From here, the mother and son will become desperate, hiring different people in hopes to de-haunt their mansion so they could live in a happy, peaceful home. And that's all pretty much without giving any spoilers, you guys. This will be a spoiler-free review. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am a Haunted Mansion hater. I'm not talking about this movie in specifically, I'm just talking about the thing as a whole. I think maybe it's because I didn't get a Disney trip when I was a kid, so I don't have that nostalgic, fun feeling of riding the Haunted Mansion ride as a kid. The first time I got to ride the ride was like 2 years ago. And aside from like the technical achievement of being able to pull off like some holograms and creepy stuff, I rode that thing going, people like this. People enjoy this. Okay, that's cool. But then again, here in Texas, they have a Looney Tunes ride that I loved as a kid. It's not even all that special either. But then we get into like the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie, and I also didn't enjoy that as a kid. It was one of those films that every time it was playing on Disney Channel, click away. Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, what you got for me? The only time I like really was interested in something Haunted Mansion related is when I heard, Guillermo del Toro wanted to make the movie. It was going to star Ryan Gosling. I was like, okay, that might be the first Haunted Mansion related thing I can actually get into, but that movie never came to fruition. So now bringing it to this new Haunted Mansion, I saw that first trailer and I thought, I guess I'll watch it, but I'm not really interested in it, even with that amazing cast. And I'm telling you all this just to give you an idea of where I fall with Haunted Mansion, because you look at some of the critical reviews and it is getting just dogpiled, which is kind of all that more surprising that I actually like this movie. I don't see why people are being so harsh on it. Finally, there is a Haunted Mansion related thing I'm actually into. This movie to me was actually like a lot of fun and way more enjoyable than I was expecting it to be. Now, I do get why some people wouldn't be all the way into this movie or where its downfalls are, because it's by no means a perfect movie, but this Haunted Mansion film to me is like one of those films I could definitely see going into my rotation of family-friendly horror movies, and that's something I do like to watch around the Halloween season. I got my movies like Casper, Halloween Town, the first Scooby-Doo movie, and now honestly, this is definitely, I think, one of those fun family Halloween movies. Getting into specifics, though, about what I enjoyed here is the way the story comes together. They have all the ingredients for an actually really good movie. Although the main dilemma is dealing with a mother and son who come across the mansion, the main character is played by Lakeith Stanfield, an actor I really respect in Hollywood, who's given kind of an emotional backstory and an interesting relationship with ghosts. And that's kind of what gave this movie a lot of heart, because it does deal with grief, loss, and I think although some of those elements could have been handled a little bit better, I wouldn't be surprised that it pulls at your heartstrings a little bit. Not enough to make you cry, but enough to make you go, aww. Even the way they go about introducing all the other cast members in here, from Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito, Tiffany Haddish, really love the explanation how all of them got involved. They're also all extremely likable characters. Every single one of them had a moment in this movie that had me chuckling, laughing. Maybe Owen Wilson is the one that made me laugh the most out of everybody, but it's definitely kind of like a corny sense of humor. Very campy and dorky. And I just say that because I know there'll be people who see the comedy in here as just super cheesy, but that's because it's a Disney Haunted Mansion movie, okay? I'm still surprised by the people who go into these Haunted Mansion movies actually expecting them to be scary. Sure, there's like a couple of visuals in here and really fun set pieces. I think the ghost designs in here look way better than the Eddie Murphy movie, specifically on the main bad guy Ghost. All the moments with him I thought CGI wise looked really good, but it's all super surface level stuff. I think 5-year-olds will have a fine time looking at some of the scary things that happen in here. I also think Chase Dillon, the little kid in here who played Travis, was adorable. He's definitely going to be someone super relatable to a lot of kids. He would have been a character I really sympathized with if I was watching this for the first time as a kid. So genuinely, yeah, I'm like shocked as someone who could like care less, has no nostalgia or attachment to the Haunted Mansion brand. I walked out of this movie really enjoying it, having a good time, and seeing myself maybe watching this every other Halloween. So with that kind of said, though, I do get why some critics are being very harsh and why not everyone is gonna love it. I was mentioning, it has a lot of cheesy, corny jokes in there. But it's not just that it has that jokes, it has a very big imbalance in its tone, because I think some people want to go in expecting this to be spooky, have these horror vibes. it doesn't always mesh well when the characters are being super zany, cartoony, and goofy. It creates a real imbalance, even more when you throw in some of the more heartfelt moments, because there are emotional things in here that I felt could have really packed a punch and maybe even made me tear up, but it's the jumping from tone to tone that makes the movie feel very unbalanced. The movie's also 2 hours long, and honestly, this film should have been 20 minutes shorter because it does have a very predictable nature. Once you get an idea of what the characters have to do to kind of de-haunt the house or defeat this ghost, they take their time in getting to that conclusion. So the movie starts to drag a little bit after the halfway point in there, and I felt like if they had just paced it the same way they did starting up, because man, the characters are introduced quick. It's like the movie was rushing to get everybody part of the Haunted Mansion, and then it just wanted to take its time telling the story. That would be like the only thing that's going to hurt the rewatchability of this movie. It's that it does drag in some parts. But really, that's kind of about it for me. For the most part, I was surprised that I like this movie. It's not amazing, perfect, or anything, but it's pretty entertaining and would be a great movie to try and get a kid into the horror genre. You know, this is kind of like the soft stuff you show them before you get them into some Freddy Krueger adjacent things. I will put it this way. If you're someone who enjoyed The Rock's Jungle Cruise, which is also based off a Disney ride, which I didn't mind, don't think it's amazing or anything, but I thought it was entertaining enough. I feel like this movie is on that same level. It is entertaining enough to watch. It has enjoyable elements that you'll remember from the actual ride, and there's actually some effort put into the characters and story, but it's not like a Pirates of the Caribbean that surpasses just being a ride adaptation. So for Disney's Haunted Mansion, I'm gonna give action 3 stars. I felt like they did enough in here with the set pieces and creative ghosts where they were chasing after people, plus the VFX involved I thought looked pretty decent. Comedy in the movie, you know what, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I like cheesy jokes. I like me some corny humor. If it's family friendly and still makes me laugh, that's actually pretty awesome. It's also great that most of these characters are funny. You know, Danny DeVito, Tiffany Haddish, Owen Wilson, almost everybody gets a joke in here that'll make you chuckle a little bit. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It's a simple enough story. I felt like they could have done more or really have fleshed out some of the things they were trying to introduce here, but because of some of the awkward imbalance in tone, some things were taken seriously and some things were obviously just joked, and you didn't get to feel that emotional punch at the end. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give it 1.5 star. Again, I am so surprised if you're someone going into this movie actually expecting it to be scary. This is a movie about a Disney park ride. It's family-friendly horror. Maybe a 2-year-old will be frightened by some of the scary ghoul faces in here. And suspense the movie, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. It's a pretty predictable story once you figure out what they have to do. It just kind of sucks that it takes them a while to get to that point. Casual fans into the Haunted Mansion, I'm gonna give it an A-. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-. And critically, I'm going to give it a C+. I think for Disney's Haunted Mansion, this was like a surprising movie I definitely recommend you watch in theaters. Again, that's just my opinion on the movie, guys. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to even come out enjoying this movie, and now I finally have something Haunted Mansion related that I'm like, I enjoyed that. I liked that. Be curious to hear what you guys think. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.